So week 0 is finally upon us, and that means, of course, college football is back. There's a handful of interesting games this weekend for week 0, but before I get into the predictions for that, I want to go over some of the more intriguing storylines for the 2023 college football season. Number 1, can the Georgia Bulldogs repeat? Or more accurately, can the Bulldogs three-peat? University of Georgia has a chance to do something that has not been done in the modern era, and that is a three-peat back-to-back-to-back national championship winner. Now, teams have come close to doing this before. USC in the early 2000s. Bama has had some chances to pull this off. No one has been able to do it, though, in recent times. Now, the last time the three-peat was actually pulled off was the University of Minnesota way back in 1934, 35, and 36. That is the last true three-peat national champion we have had in college football. So Georgia getting this done would be a huge accomplishment. Now, they've got a lot of talent coming back on the field this season, returning 13 starters. I think the biggest question, if there is one, would be the new quarterback Carson Beck taking over, of course, for Stetson Bennett. Having said that, though, I think Georgia is in prime condition to pull off the three-peat. I think they're actually in better shape than USC was in the early 2000s. Interesting story number 2, the Pac-12's last ride. With USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon set to join the Big Ten in 24, and Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah set to join the Big 12 that same year, this is the last season with the classic Pac-12 lineup still in effect. And with 5 teams from the Pac ranked in the AP Top 25, it looks like it's going to be an exciting season. USC is the highest ranked of the current Pac-12 members, coming in at number 6. A lot of people have them penciled in for a playoff run, especially with Caleb Williams coming back for another season at quarterback. However it shakes out, a lot of people will be paying attention to the Pac-12, not only because it's the last season with the classic lineup, but because there are a lot of good teams in this conference. Storyline number 3, this is Texas and Oklahoma's last season in the Big 12. And a lot of people are wondering, will either of those teams get a fair shake from the referees in Big 12 play this season? I'm going to take the contrarian stance on this issue. I think they actually will, because so many eyes are on the Big 12 conference this year, and there's so much controversy surrounding Texas and Oklahoma's exit. I think the Big 12 refs are going to call these games pretty much down the middle, if only because doing anything less would give the Big 12 a black eye. In other words, if the Big 12 Conference is seen as a league that gives hometown decisions or has crooked refereeing, that's not going to bode well for them in the future. And when trying to build a long-term reputation like the Big 12 is doing, having crooked officials who are on the take, that's not the way to do it. Storyline number 4 is Florida State back. After a 10-win season in 2022, head coach Mike Norvell looks to have Florida State competing not only for conference championships again, but also to get into the college football playoff. Now, Florida State goes into their season opener versus LSU, 8th ranked in the country, at least according to the AP poll, with a lot of returning production on both sides of the ball. The key player, of course, quarterback Jordan Travis. We're going to find out pretty quickly, quite honestly, if Florida State is legit or not this season. When they face off against LSU on September the 3rd, it's going to be very evident how good of a team the Seminoles truly are. So this is not a storyline you're going to have to wait very long to see develop. We're going to find out very quickly in the 2023 season how good Florida State truly is. Storyline number 5, we're witnessing the beginning of the conference wars. This is something that has been a long time coming in college football. What we're seeing now, though, is a very interesting facet of the realignment saga, and that is college football fans are starting to align much more closely with their team's conferences. Now, this has been something that's been celebrated in the SEC for well over a decade now. But now we're even seeing fans of teams in the Big 10 and the Big 12 start to follow suit. And this is a fascinating development in the world of college football. We're seeing the SEC model essentially spread and duplicated across the country. And that is, you root for your team first and you root for your conference second. And this philosophy, this point of view, will make the college football playoffs far more interesting as we move forward. Not only this year, the last year of the 4-team playoff, but especially as we move into the 12-team playoff era starting in 24. Now, when it comes to the actual games of Week 0, there's a handful that I find particularly interesting. Number 1, Navy versus Notre Dame in Ireland. I see the Fighting Irish jumping all over Navy in this one and winning by a score of 45-17. Hawaii at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, kind of the sexy pick for this game. I will go with the Commodores to win at home by a score of 31-14. Florida versus Utah, a rematch from an extremely good game in 2022. This time, the Utes take care of business at home. Utah wins 27-20. NC State at UConn. UConn, of course, the talk of many expansion rumors, especially when the Big 12 is concerned. In this particular contest, North Carolina State wins 35-13. And finally, Nebraska at Minnesota, an early Big 10 showdown. I've got Minnesota winning 17-7 at home. I say cheers to everyone who is a college football fan. Football is finally back, and this season looks to be very interesting for numerous reasons. So take this time to celebrate the last time all the teams of college football will be undefeated. Enjoy your college football weekend. Enjoy Week 0, and I'll talk to you later.